and welcome back to another episode of Four Chicks Chatting. Welcome to the new year. Welcome to the new decade. We are rocking and rolling here. We have a great topic, I think, today. At least I think it's fun. I hope you guys do too. What do you think when you hear the word intimidate or intimidation?
Ah, I know, I just
Dun,
grimaced.
dun, dun. I think at the beginning of the year, let me just speak for me. I won't speak for you guys, but the beginning of the year, I find myself somewhat paralyzed. So maybe I can sub out intimidated and paralyzed there, but there's just so many things that I want to do. There are so many things that I'm reading that says I should be doing. And I think what makes me laugh the most about this word is, I don't know if you guys remember when Planet Fitness was starting. And, I'm so big on commercials and TV in general. But anyway, they had a commercial, if you guys haven't seen it, where somebody was starting the gym for the first time and they were obviously not quite in shape. And they just kept showing the people that were incredibly in shape. So you saw these Arnold Schwarzenegger oiled up bodies, and then you saw these, Olivia Newton-John type bodies, and with their leg warmers and so forth. And so they kept saying that their model was gym intimidation.
I like
and
that.
that's something that they didn't want people to feel. Go back to the gym at Planet Fitness, and you're not going to run into these hard bodies in the locker room and make you want to just crawl into it. So anyway, I always laugh at that. And I think it's great because they've really, I think, touched on a lot of people's feelings. And I don't think it has to do exclusively just with the gym. I think it has to do with the beginning of the year intimidation anyway. So what are your thoughts on that?
You know, I think we are all so programmed to think that we have to be better, do better, make more money, do this, do that. It really is, it really can be terrifying at the beginning of the year to think like, oh my God, I have to change everything about myself because I'm really awful. I really suck at everything that I do and think and say. So, I think it's a very intimidating time of year. It can be very energizing, which is great, but I think only if you do these things in reasonable, I think reasonable is the word that you kind of have to attach to everything that you do at the beginning of the year.
I like
Don't
that.
not set lofty goals, but don't set them so high that they're completely unattainable and you're going to feel like a failure, 2 weeks in. So, I think it's a terribly intimidating time of year.
You know what I find so intimidating is all these people have been talking for weeks, maybe months, about getting all their content ready for 2020. I'm like, I cannot be that person. I just cannot plan out a month's worth of content at one time. I can't do it. It's physically and emotionally impossible. And it intimidates me to think, oh shoot, they've got like months worth of content. They know exactly where they're going and what they're putting out into the world. And I'm thinking, I might not feel like saying that on that day, so I just can't do it.
I'm so glad you said that because that has been a bugaboo of mine for years. Like our good friend Jen Gardell is always talking about the content calendar and this and that and the other thing. And I can maybe do like a week, where I think, okay, this week's theme or this whatever, but I'm the same way. When I think about that, it just, I get a stomach ache. I break out into a cold sweat. Like there is no way I can do a content calendar and think about the month, let alone the year.
Yeah,
So,
it's crazy.
social media in and of itself can be intimidating.
When I see that, the only way to calm myself down or get myself off the ceiling like a cat, because I jump up on the ceiling when I read that, is that I picture that person sitting at their desk all perfectly coiffed, and then in the next room are all these little mice and elves that are pulling all the content and sitting there going, and that's the only way that I can believe that that's actually getting done, is that they've got this whole team out there that's each one's responsible for a month, a week, a word, whatever, and that's the only way it can be done. And unless I have little birds to dress me in the morning, I'm not going to have little birds to.
You don't?
Well, I don't like to brag, but I did give him the holidays off. But that's how I have to look at that, Robin. So the next time, think of the
Yeah.
everybody in the back pulling all that stuff for them.
I
Yeah,
think you're
that's a
right.
good
I don't know
point.
how anybody does that by
Mm-mm,
themselves. I
mm-mm.
just don't know.
So I was literally just today when I was walking the dogs, listened to this new podcast I found. It's not new. It's new to me. I just found it. It's called the Resist Average Academy. And the episode I was listening to, they were talking about, it was an analogy of organizing your closet. And that's how you organize your work life, what you need to focus on. And they talked about this whole conversation about all the social media platforms and all the content, because it's about if you have a content driven business, right? And you can't, they were saying that if you're trying to be on every single platform and have content calendars to hit all these audiences, and it's everyone has a team that you see, Gary Vee has a team, Mel Robbins has a team, that's why they're on all the platforms. But each member of the team knows that platform inside and out. That's why they are so successful there. So if you are one person trying to do all that, you're basically giving 15% of your talent to that audience. So you got to go trim it down and figure out which one you want to start at, and they said look at where you're comfortable already and then branch out from there. So if you're already comfortable on Facebook, if you're already comfortable on Instagram, wherever you're already comfortable and you know that platform, go from there and then just repurpose that to other places later as you learn the other things. And then it's not so intimidating. But it's just so fun. And it's so funny, the conversation I was listening to, because they said everyone talks about be on every platform and have all this content and oh my God. And then you want to die. You can't do it.
Mm-mm.
You can't do it. And you're supposed to engage and you're supposed to, build relationships. You can't do that on every platform because all you do is overwhelm yourself. And then what good is that? Because then you can't serve your clients or build your business if you're just completely overwhelmed because you have to do all this time on these crazy
Yeah.
platforms.
I just
Yeah, I
said to
think you're
Mary
right.
Fran, remember yesterday Mary Fran was talking about Instagram? I said, I keep trying to get a hold of Instagram, and then I realized that my people for the things I was focusing on were on Facebook and LinkedIn. So I moved over a little bit because what happened was as I'm putting stuff on Instagram, because I don't know it well enough yet, I would put stuff on there and I would lose followers. And then I would get all mad, like, who the hell unfollows? Like, come on, who takes
Yeah.
the time to, right?
How
Then I'm
dare you?
like, okay, I'm going to hit the brakes on Instagram for December. And my followers count stayed even. It didn't go anywhere. And then when you post the wrong stuff there, people get pissed off and leave. I'm like, okay, hit the brakes
So
and it's
now we
all
got to
going to
be
stay
worried
the
about
same.
that too. We got to be worried about making them mad so they don't leave us. Oh, good
Right?
God.
So then I'm like, all right, I'm going to go back over to the platforms I know really well and I'll figure out Instagram again later. I have that whole up and down with Instagram all year long.
I
Sometimes
think
I'm
a
in a
lot of
groove and
people
I can
do.
do it. And then my groove, I don't know. Stella's got to get her groove back with Instagram here.
Kath knows I do. Kath has to send me texts when she posts on Instagram to tell me to go look at it because I never do.
I like,
She's
yeah,
like, "Can you please take a look at this?" I'm like, "Oh, geez, okay." And then I go do it, and then my daughter will get on me about it too because like, "Mom, there's messages. People sent you stuff 3 weeks ago." I'm like, but it's the same concept though, Kristen. The people that are, a lot of this comes down to, again, we talked about this in another episode, what are your goals? So my goals are to reach the decision makers in places that are going to hire me and bring me in to speak and bring me in to do workshops and all that. Those people aren't on Instagram.
Mm-mm.
right.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
your
So
audience is not Instagram,
they're
Mary Fran.
not.
Your
So
audience is LinkedIn.
yeah, so you have
Yeah.
to, I think this whole idea of intimidation in social media, and thank you, Robin, for bringing it up, because I think it's a huge thing with the entrepreneurial world, this whole social media thing, and how do you manage it? And we've said this before, but figure out where your people are and concentrate on those areas. And if you want to do the other stuff for fun, or if somebody tells you you have to go look at it because they posted something and they send you a text to do it,
Yeah.
that's fine. But don't make yourself crazy. Don't over intimidate yourself and think you have to be on everything.
Yeah.
I want to take it in a different level a little bit. I want to take it down to a little more personal level because I found this cool quote. But to Mary Fran, I just have to say that Gone with the Wind is not up for Best Picture. Okay. If everybody knows, the Golden Globes are on this weekend. I will be there dressed in Armani.
But wait, is
Okay.
Over the Rain is the Wizard of Oz? Because I thought they were this. No, not that one either.
No,
Okay.
Now let's move on.
This is another old joke for anybody who's missing the connection.
Wow. Yeah, you see how the screen is in color now, not black and white anymore?
Isn't that something?
2020, new decade. Welcome.
I
Welcome.
can see, Lord.
All right, so listen to this quote because I really like it.
Oh, wait, your sound
What
went crazy
happened?
there. What was that?
Mine?
Speak again, Kat.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we're good. Okay.
Testing.
The
Okay.
evil witch cast a spell on her microphone.
I know. All you see are my feet now. Okay. If my strength intimidates you, I hope you realize it's a weakness of yours.
Oh,
Right?
I love that.
I knew you would.
Oh,
Can I get that on a shirt? Because I have an appointment in 2 weeks that I need to wear that to it.
I'll make it on a pillow.
so
she can wear
let's
a
talk
pillow.
about that. So let's talk about that.
I love it. I think it's I mean it kind of goes with the people that I picture behind the scenes doing all of the work. It's and I do this. I do this sometimes. It's like, okay, if I am looking at if I reverse this and say I'm so intimidated by this person, maybe they're not so great in another area where I'm strong. And I kind of have to remember that.
I think the world we see, for the most part, unless you know someone really well, you see what they want you to see.
Yeah.
You don't see their train wreck. Everybody's got one. You don't see it. And that's kind of something to keep in mind. And because I'm older than the rest of you by like 70 years or so, I feel like really and truly, as I've gotten older, I've recognized that. Look, everybody's got a train wreck. We're all just trying to do the best we can here. And that has lessened for me, that intimidation of being intimidated by other people. Impressed, yes. Intimidated, not necessarily.
It's like the family portrait. Nobody knows that the kids were just throwing sand in each other's eyes 2 minutes before. The dad forgot to fill out important paperwork the morning of, and the mom burned herself cooking dinner, whatever. Like, nobody knows all the mayhem that's going on in the other side,
They haven't even spoken to each other in years. They hate each other.
Exactly.
But here they are holding each other and smiling. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was something on there. There was something on social media about that with, oh, okay. Yeah, your family's all backstabbing and throwing stuff at each other, but stand there and smile in your pajamas for the Christmas picture.
Yeah. Right.
You can put lipstick on a pig.
Uh-huh.
Can. Despite the saying that you can't. You absolutely can.
The moral of the story is go do your thing. Don't worry about everybody else. Be in your lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's huge. So then how do you, though? Okay, so we're saying this, but how do you, if you're in the same field as someone who you maybe know personally and they seem to be wildly successful and you don't feel like you're anywhere near that, how are you not intimidated by that? And how do you get beyond that to move forward and be successful maybe in your own right? I don't know. What's the answer?
Use them as inspiration. Like,
Yep.
you're not here to do what they're doing. So you have strengths that maybe they don't have, or you have a different audience than they have, but you have the ability. Like we've said this before, there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
So we're not creating anything new. There's going to be somebody else doing the exact same thing we do. We just have to do it to the best of our ability and reach the people that we want to reach. So use it as inspiration to push you forward, but don't try to copy them or mimic them or let them intimidate you to the point where now you're going to back off and not do what you know you're meant to be doing because they're doing it too.
I mean, really, if you're following someone, you're following them for a reason. So they're touching you in some way. Their their message is resonating with you in some way. So take a look at what they're doing well. Can you do that? If that's something you can't do well, please don't even try. Because you're setting yourself up to fail. So focus on what you can do well and look at them as, like Robin said, an inspiration to say, well, you know what? I want to become better in that area. Maybe I just need to try.
Yeah, I think the other thing to think about too is, in fact, my husband Dave and I were having this conversation last night. He was looking at this this website and looking at that's huge. It's called like Tut quotes from the universe or something like that. It's an inspirational website. And that he was reading the story of the guy who started, and he said this website started with one email to 30 people, and now we have 50 billion followers in every planet and city and blah 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 blah. But I said to him, well, when did they start? He said 1997. I was like, well,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
So I think we sometimes don't look at the whole picture of other people, and how these people who are wildly successful maybe in certain areas have been at it for a super long time. So we use the term giving yourself some grace before, and I think it's important to do that, especially when you see other people in your area who might be wildly successful. Recognize that that didn't happen overnight,
Right.
and just keep doing you.
One thing that I always come back to when I feel like, oh my God, I'm not there yet, or I'm never going to get there. I remember Gary Vee said, look at him. He's on video all the time. That's his big thing, right? And he said in the first year that he was doing videos nonstop, nobody watched them. That's the time that he used to get really good at it. He had to get out there and do it when no one was watching, so that then he could get there to be where he is now.
Yeah, so there's something to be said for not having people right in your face all the time, so you can hone your skill set maybe.
Yeah. Well, and if you're doing things to the best of your ability and you're working hard at creating something that is going to be beneficial to, what problem do you solve for other people? As long as you are working towards that and you're doing the best that you can do, chances are that same person or another person is looking at you the same way you're looking at them.
Yep, absolutely.
Just in another area. So take that intimidation, and instead of letting it squash your desires, let it fuel you to push forward and be better.
Yeah, I like that. I think
that
so
about
true.
sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Robin's done
mic
now.
Drop.
That is a complete mic drop moment. Wow.
I'm over and out. My brain is now
She's
done.
spent. She's exhausted.
That's really so true, though. I mean, I think that that's happened to me on occasion when, I always feel like I'm pushing a boulder uphill. I think we all do to a certain degree, because in the journey of life, you usually never get exactly where you want to get. Most of the time we're still working towards something, and that's fine. And it's good. But, somebody said to me the other day, oh, I was talking about you, and the person that they were talking to said, oh, you know her? She's everywhere. And I'm like, what? Because it doesn't fit my image of me in my head.
Yeah.
So other people, I think you're right, Robin, other people see you in a way that's maybe, inspirational, that you're looking at those people who've inspired you, but now you don't even realize sometimes when you're touching other people.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should realize when you're touching them, but you know what I mean.
Mary Bontempo. Mary Frances Bontempo. I am going to say something to you right now.
Uh-oh.
Because how many times? Oh, yeah.
I'm afraid. Now, speaking of intimidation.
You know how you always say, know your brilliance.
Mm-hmm.
You're the first one to say that to other people, but now I'm going to turn it back to you.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, that's another mic drop moment.
There you
go.
Very
Fran intervention.
But you know what? I think that this is a good conversation to have, because I don't care how successful you are. I don't care, what you've accomplished in your life. Everybody has moments of doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody experiences this intimidation that we're talking about. It doesn't matter what you've achieved. You will have periods like this, and maybe that's what we take out of this. It's perfectly normal, and don't let it stop you.
And then I'm going to wrap up with getting back to the gym intimidation, whatever that was that Planet Fitness said. Here's one thought to keep in mind. And when we share this episode in the show notes, I'll get the link to the Giphy that's out there or the movie, whatever video that's out there on social media right now. with all the gym intimidation. There's this video I saw yesterday where there's this guy that acts like he's watching all these people at the gym, and it isn't. It's all these little video clips, but the way that they compiled it, he looks like he's looking at all these people at the gym. And there are people, and I want you to think about this. There's like, you're so intimidated at the gym. There's a woman that she's like rocking it on the treadmill, right? She is going. And then when the camera pans down, somebody recorded her on their cell phone. When the phone goes down, you see she's in these wedge weird heels in this crazy outfit, and she does not give a rat's ass that she is out there like that. She's having the time. Then there's another woman like singing, and she's pointing. They don't care. They are doing their thing at the gym, staying in their lane, getting their workout in, and it's like, hey, now they're going to be famous on this video. But do your thing, do it your way. Yes, get inspiration from everybody. Someone is watching you, but as long as you're focused, doing your thing, staying in your lane, then rock it. Wear those crazy wedge shoes on the treadmill.
All right,
That's
there you
good.
have it.
That's good.
I like it.
Well,
Okay,
thanks
Kath, take us
everybody.
out.
Yeah. Please, we'd love to hear. Now you all know what we're talking about, show and everything, what we're intimidated with and by. We'd love to hear what you think about the beginning of the year. Are you intimidated by it? What do you wear on the treadmill? We love to hear everything. So please follow us on that social thing. We are everywhere. The chicks are everywhere, and the reason is because of you guys and your liking and your commenting and your sharing. And so we really, really appreciate that. So please continue to do that. And we will see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.